Hello and welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network Sunday special interview. I am your host, Lewis Carlin. Very excited today because my guest today for the past 6 years has been a part of the WWE roster. Formerly is now departed from the WWE. Want to introduce, very excited, the man formerly known as Alexander Wolfe, Axel, the X-Man Tischer. Welcome to the show, Axel.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, let's see
My
what we got.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Very excited that you're joining me today. So, how you holding up after the departure from the WWE?
Oh, doing great, doing well. I'm in a happy place of my life, very positive, because I about to move back to Germany,
Okay.
which was the plan before, but now I have to do it a little bit quicker than as it actually was planned. So I'm ready to go back to Germany. I'm very positive and very happy about like going back there through the indie scene and work again as a freelancer. Of course, it's never great to get told to let go or just to get released, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
And like it sucks a bit to leave all the money behind, but money is not everything in life. So, but
Sure.
I'm happy, and my wife is positive about it. We have a 2-year-old son. He will now have the chance to grow up with grandpa and grandma. So
Okay.
yeah, everything is good.
Okay. So you, in past interview, you weren't released. You just your contract is coming up, and they decided not to extend it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So what was your initial reaction when you discovered that they weren't going to extend your contract?
I was pretty calm. I was not angry or pissed. I was, of course it sucks and it was a bit saddening. I kind of like felt a little bit pain in my resting pride. Uh, because I know I'm not I'm a good talent. I know what to do in the ring. I can do great stuff in the ring, and as a performer also, I know I'm good, and I know I'm better than a lot of other people. They are under contract, but it's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's a decision by corporate made of making cost cuts. And I totally understand that because after 6 years of WWE, the one thing you learned about the business is how they how they do business. And it's not only WWE, it's just a corporate thing. They have to make cuts, and when your name is on that list, you get cut. Point.
So there's no bad feelings towards the WWE then.
No, not at all. It's again, it's a thing for me. Like I have a lot of pride in my ability, what I can do. I believe I'm a great asset for a company, which I was a good asset for WWE.
Yes.
They didn't use me as for my full potential, but it is how it is. So in that case, no hard feelings about that. So when they made the decision, I have to accept it because otherwise I just can't be miserable and just moan and cry and try to bury the company. But
Yeah.
you have to understand what you signed up for.
So you said in another interview that you felt that they dodged you prior to letting you know that they were not extending your contract. Do you feel that maybe they could have handled it a little differently?
Um, Maybe, but I also understand why they do this because apparently what I heard was the cuts being planned 3 weeks ago before I got the message, before they did the cuts. And I guess if you would tell a talent, hey, this is your last weeks with the company, otherwise we do not extend your contract. A lot of talents would say, okay, F you, I stay home and collect the money. I wouldn't do that because again, I have my pride when that like finish up strong and then go home, with my head up instead of with my tail tucked in. But yeah, I mean, the dodging stuff was after I got the message where like with me, and it's my belief, it's my thinking, it's nothing written in stone with that.
Sure.
And I felt like, okay, I tried to get a hold of somebody, and then out of the blue, I get told we will not extend your contract. We will let your contract run out, and then we, go different parts. And I thought like, okay, that's why nobody wants to speak with me because I was trying to ask what are the future plans to going on with the story, just to prepare myself, maybe get out the old Sanity gear, or maybe just alternate some other stuff because I want to. I'm very creative in a lot of things, in at my level.
Sure.
So, and I want to be like creative with myself, just to be a better me and a better performer.
Yeah, I know. When after you were attacked by Imperium, I thought, okay, maybe he's going to get back with Killian Dane. We're going to get a
Mhm.
Sanity 2.0.
Yeah.
So that's what you're thinking. That's what you were thinking as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that would have been great. Did you speak to Triple H at all prior to your departure or
I
no?
tried to speak with him, and he told me he will get back to me.
Okay.
So that was the thing. One day I tried to speak with him also about want to move back to Germany, because want to go back to Germany for private reasons. Also, I was more associated with NXT UK. And I had to come back to the States that my visa would not expire. And because
Okay.
my son is born in the States, I had the chance to travel back without any issues. So yeah, and that's why like in that time I couldn't travel back because of travel restriction, and that's why they used me on NXT US. So
Okay.
usually I would be with NXT UK, and that was the reason why. Hey, maybe I stay there, maybe not, because Imperium is like NXT US and NXT
Yeah.
UK product.
Hmm.
So, but I never got a hold of him because he's a very busy man.
Yeah,
And
of
on
course.
one point, I asked him a couple times, and he told me, "Yeah, we'll get back to you." So,
Okay. Well, hopefully he'll get back to you very soon on that. So let's go back for a bit. I was a big fan of Sanity. Love
mhm.
Sanity. So whose idea was it for Sanity, and what led to your involvement with the faction?
Triple H's idea. So
Okay.
he had. So I got told by a lot of people that he had this idea for years, and he just needed to find like a bunch of people who could like where he thinks they could pull off the act. So, and then eventually they put Sawyer and myself together as a
Yeah.
team, and I thought we look like grungy enough to pull that off. And
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
hired EY and then put us together. And then the day before we no, actually the day when we debuted, they told Nikki Cross, and they put Nikki Cross with us. So it was
Okay.
pretty cool.
So yeah. So Sawyer Fulton unfortunately got injured. Killian Dane took
Mhm.
over. Well,
Yeah.
were you a little upset that, because I know you and Fulton were a good team. Were you upset that he didn't come to the team and make it a five-person team, or how did you feel about him getting hurt, not being a part of the team?
I was very upset, but that's part of the business. But I was
Yeah.
upset with how to replace him in the way of like how they kind of like treated the scenario in the way of like, yeah, if you cannot make it, you get cut and you have to go out. So it's that this throat cutting,
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. But it is what it is, and it fit the character. And then with Killian was the way like we replaced one good guy with the other good guy. But in the end, it was better that we not got sort of back in the team, because it's already a pain in the ass to have creative for 4-person team, and then for 5-person team would be even worse, because you always have to think you cannot always fight against 4 other individuals or 5 other individuals. Sometimes it's the for example, like EY was facing Roderick Strong, right? So one
Yeah.
on one, and now he has to deal with me and with Kieran as well. So how we do it without we getting like chopped down by one guy at the same time, and how we do it if we have to do it that we still look strong but not as weak sisters. So creatively, it's always a big clusterfuck to think about it, and then in the end, but always like the majority of the guys, like even like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they always came up with some great ideas to make it work, that everybody was protected.
So while Sanity enjoyed great success at NXT, it wasn't the same when you got called up to the main roster, I should
Yeah,
say. Why do you think that was? Why do you think Sanity wasn't as successful in the main roster as they were in NXT?
probably a time and place, because when we got called up, we've been super hot. We haven't done anything super big on NXT. We got sent off, and then they had plans for us at SmackDown. We got told that everybody's high on us, and um, we are well liked with what we do in NXT. And then the debut got postponed. And again, next week. They showed vignettes after third week of vignettes, and not even got the TV slot. It's just put on social media. So, and then kind of like it goes a little bit down, and then they waited for the debut because something was happening. I don't know. And then yeah, sometimes is the thing when you have a plan for something and it's the greatest plan ever, 2 months later it's probably the worst plan ever. Vice versa, it's the worst plan after 2 weeks, it's the best plan because right now it fits into the whole TV product. And I think it was because of that. So, but then in the end, like maybe like the whole character was successful at NXT and not on SmackDown. And it also could be that maybe NXT is a different kind of product than SmackDown. I said in some podcasts before, NXT is more like a rock version from the hip hop and pop culture main roster SmackDown and Raw product.
Yeah, was it a mistake not bringing Nikki Cross up initially?
Yeah, also a big mistake.
Yeah. I felt the same way. I felt the same way. They should have brought
It
her
was
up.
devastating with that, and I feel like, especially when you see like all the comments when somebody posted something, blah blah blah, when he debuted, the entire comment section was Nikki Cross, Nikki Cross, Nikki Cross,
Yeah.
and of course,
Yeah.
because it's in my opinion, it's stupid. It didn't work. Like they thought it will work like it did for Ansel and Cass because they did not got promoted with Carmella. It worked out for them, and in the end, it worked out for Carmella. In the same way right now for Nikki. So Eric is gone. I will be gone soon. Killian is doing something, but Nikki Cross is the superstar now in the end, which has like still is up there, still swinging hard, is in the title picture, yada yada yada. So that's the thing. And with Carmella is the same. Anson Cass not anymore with the company. Carmella is doing great on SmackDown. And at that time, we knew, okay, when we split off the team, and Nikki was so unique for the whole group that we will lose an important part of the whole team. Mm-hmm. So we still be like, yeah, okay, SmackDown, but it was a huge bummer when we heard the bad news.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, 100%. So I remember when Sanity lost. It was a 3-on-1 handicap match, Falls Count Anywhere against The Miz. Do you think that was basically the end of Sanity?
Yeah, we already dead in the water. Okay. That was something, okay, we finally have something to do. And it was cool to work together with The Miz. But the whole thing of like, we knew that the whole character was dead, because usually the last place you want to be in with Sanity is a 3-on-1 handicap match with relaxed rules.
Yeah,
because if we would be us, we would probably burn you under the ring and something like that. We would just find the most part of, I don't know, a letter to torture you with that, and just go fucking nuts and laugh about it.
Yeah.
So, but what that was, yeah, we were a part of that, and we pitched more ideas in the end because we did not knew that apparently we will get split. Then after Mania 35, and we pitched a lot of ideas to be a part of Mania 35 match, Miz and Shane and everything. It was very close that we would be attached to the match, but in the end, like, they just used us as like cannon fodder, so they kind of sacrificed them. And again, it's nothing about the Miz, like, he's a great guy and awesome wrestler and everything, but it's like you have the at least badass guy from the whole roster against in our opinion the most psychopathic guys, and then we get kind of a sacrifice of the Caesar as a storyline. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so Eric Young is now leading Violent by Design in Impact Wrestling. Mm-hmm. I think you would be a great addition to that faction. Has that ever crossed your mind, a possible reunion in Impact Wrestling with Eric Young?
A lot of people ask me that because I take it as a compliment, because obviously they like my character and Sanity, how I portray that. I'm happy for Ivo that he's there with Violent by Design. And when you see Violent by Design, I said it in a lot of interviews before, when you see this and you like it, this could have been Sanity on SmackDown. Because the majority of the ideas and like all the materials and the stuff he speaks about, and he's very, very creative in that, and he's very good in what he's doing. This had become SmackDown, because all ideas we kind of like pitched, and he pitched in specific, like, for, we fight the disease, we fight the sickness of the people, because we believe we're always in the right, because we're good villains and everything. But with me becoming a part of that, never say never, and I'm open for everything. At least it's what can I say? As long as like professional and lucrative, then I would would love to do that, but I do not see myself in that, because Sanity was a fun time, and it
Okay.
was for me a good learning experience to develop a character from I'm not even close to that to make it my own. But I'm more if you want to compare it, I'm more Imperium than Sanity, even if I loved the whole Sanity deal.
Sure.
I
Sure.
can be more creative at Sanity because there's more there to be creative, from outfits to promos and everything. And Imperium is very black and white, but I'm more the actual wrestler, and I love the art of wrestling than just portray somebody who I'm not really 100%.
So you've been wrestling for about 17 years now. Is that correct?
Ish. I started 2000 with training, and
Okay.
I started 2006 training in a professional wrestling school, and I kind of picked up a daily schedule with bookings around 2000 and let's say 2007,
Okay.
2009
Okay.
ish.
So what led to you wanting to become a professional wrestler?
Oh, I
Um,
loved it. I loved it.
okay.
I'm a big fan of animes and superheroes, and even first watched wrestling in the year 5 or 6, and in that time I watched like all like the Ninja Turtles, He-Man, and
Okay.
Saber Rider, and like all that good stuff. Where like a lot of times like beefy guys just fighting evil and everything. So, and I saw wrestling, I was in love right away.
Okay.
So, and then I I had to go to school, so I couldn't watch it because it got
Okay.
broadcasted very late. And then around
Okay.
2000, I picked it back up again with WWE right around the 2000. And I was in love again, but this time I was kind of old and, let's say, mature enough to do it. And
Okay.
I had the chance and just start doing it. And I felt in love with that right away, like being an active wrestler, and just from there start to progress and start to evolve and become like actually a professional wrestler who can live off the professional wrestling.
So how did you initially get involved with the WWE? Who quote unquote discovered you and brought you into the WWE?
I got asked if I want to do a tryout for WWE
Okay.
in London 2014, and I said
Okay.
yes. I wasn't sure if I
Okay.
get signed. I because I'm not like from the physique. I'm not a WWE guy. I'm not too muscular or anything. I'm not the biggest. I'm not the smallest. I'm with that in the land of giant. I'm average.
Okay.
Sometimes I see myself smaller than I actually are, so I can be a big dude. But uh, in that time, I was kind of like, yeah, they will not sign me, but let's have fun and let's collect the experience. I knew that that time I was very confident enough to say I would be the best performer in the ring, uh, especially in that tryout. But I wasn't keen on, they maybe don't like my look, they maybe don't like my physique, but I was very professional, as I'm still are. That's one
Yeah.
of my pet peeves. I want to be very professional in a lot of things, and especially like how I showed up. I was prepared. I was, yeah, in fight mode. So in the end, I got the call for the signing.
Yeah, I remember early on, if I'm not mistaken, you were in a squash match. Forgive me for saying that, against Baron Corbin, I believe,
Mhm.
earlier on. So
Yeah.
what was your what were your thoughts on Baron Corbin back then? I was a big fan. Your thoughts on Baron Corbin on the main roster and on when he was in NXT.
So I had a chance to work with him a couple of times, and he was always cool to me. I know he has a different persona than other people, because a lot of times he, you know, could not give yeah, he's not a guy who is. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, your picture's freeze.
Oh.
No, so he's a guy who he's not very social to a lot of things. A lot of times he's very like, you couldn't care less about anything. He's very business, but he was always good to me. So in that case, I do not have a grudge against him. I think he's doing great, because even like the entire um like wrestling world hates him and everything. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the signs for him that he's doing a great job, because a lot of people hate him for what he does and who he
Mhm.
is, and he's a
Okay.
bad wrestler and all that BS. So yeah, if a lot of people know how to judge wrestling people, if they're good or bad, it's people that never step the foot inside a wrestling ring. So I had some fun times with him. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I had a match with him at the first Download Festival NXT did in England, and it was easy guy. So.
All right. Yeah. Very, very talented. Very, very talented. Baron Corbin is. So one thing I wanted to ask you, I remember when Worlds Collide, you took a kick to the face by Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
And you had to leave the match.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Were you knocked out after that kick?
I got knocked out cold with that, and you can see if you watch it back, totally off. Then, so Drake, he kind of saved my career. He got over me and he saw like building up a limp on my neck. That's when you get knocked out. The blood is not flowing properly. So he stopped it right away from getting injured enough. So, and he probably saved my career for another 10 years or something, right? So then they pulled me out and I couldn't like come back right away. So when you get knocked out, you will not wrestle, but also I could not stand up. So they had to carry me back.
Oh, wow.
After 5 minutes, I was almost back on 100%. I got told by medical, but because of the medical progress, what they do, they cannot allow me to go back because I got obviously concussed. So, which is good because like WWE always try to take care, not really try, they take care of the talents, but they always try to take care as best as possible. Because a lot of times, like referees, staff, and even wrestlers get schooled. If something happens like that, stop moving. Don't do anything. Don't touch the talent. And when you're in the heat of the moment, you need a referee like Drake, for example, who's like blocked Bobby there from continuing doing something, doing his job because he didn't realize it, but he was very good at like seeing it and just called for the medicals, and they took care of me. They did like the tests and everything, reaction tests. And most of the time you have different symptoms. You get super emotional, or you foggy, and you're sensitive to sounds and everything. And even if I got caught good, I didn't feel anything. So props to Bobby Fish. He caught me in a healthy way, in a good way. My jaw was great. So it was everything in the end fine. So, but they couldn't let me back.
So was he supposed to kick you in the chest and not the face?
Yeah, but the thing is, and it's totally my mistake. So it was like a sandwich strike. It was Roddy with the chop on the back,
chop in the back,
and the kick in the chest. And with me I was anticipating the chop in the back and was kind of like, giving him the back. But then I tucked my chin and it got too high, and it was just the peak of it. And everybody has this spot on the jaw.
Yeah.
When you hit that, lights out.
Lights out. Okay. Did you want? You said you were okay after about 5 minutes when you were in the back. Did you want to return to the match?
Oh yeah, I wanted to return so badly. But in the end, I believe the match turned out even better than we actually structured, because first of all, Imperium won with 3 against 4, against one of the greatest guys in NXT. And then the other thing was, I was happy for. I mean, Walter is already over, or was already over there, but it was great for Marcel and Fabian showing off which amazing talents they are. And they did not get the credits they deserve, but in that match, the world saw those guys are amazing. Those guys are not only Walter's sidekicks or buffoons, they are with Walter in that team for a reason, because they're great athletes.
Right. Now, did you prefer your time in Sanity, or did you prefer your time in Imperium?
Both.
It's
a different pair of shoes.
Okay. All right. I love both factions. Just want to get your opinion there. So the WWE recently just released a bunch of top stars, Braun Strowman. Many speculating that the WWE is going up for sale. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the WWE will be put up for sale?
If so, probably the smartest move they can do. I mean, I hear the rumors about from other media news outlets, maybe to Fox or to Disney. Okay. And if they do it, hopefully they make good money with it, and hopefully it will profit not only the higher ups, also the talents and everything. So, but I think it's a thing which makes everybody keeps talking about WWE, which is good. Maybe not only in a negative way, as normally WWE released again or let go of some people, and how dare you. So it's maybe something positive to report about them, but in the end, it's if they do it, there will follow a lot of other stuff coming, which is a lot of stress. Like you have to offer everybody new contracts and blah 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 blah. And I think right now they kind of like figured out how less they actually need employers to still run 100%. So because when you see how many like behind the curtain personnel got like let go, got like put together and everything, I think they just alternate and optimize the whole company right now.
Did you ever get to speak to Vince McMahon and your opinion on Mr. McMahon?
So Mr. McMahon is the reason why everybody nowadays has a job and is successful at wrestling.
100%.
You can love him, you can hate him, but you cannot deny that he's probably the guy who made the whole WWE stuff. Of course, like all the performers in the ring and like all the wrestlers, but without him, there would no Hulk Hogan, no Steve Austin, no The Rock, whatever.
Yep.
So again, but so I had a couple talks with him just about creative and saying hello and blah blah blah, and all went well. So he's not the psycho everybody said. From my experience, he was very nice gentleman. We spoke about creative stuff. We spoke about different stuff because we did not had really a chance to introduce ourselves when we got promoted to SmackDown. So we all like individually used the time like just to say hello and just I felt like I had I want to properly introduce myself to him. Yeah, but he was never weird and never like angry or shouted or whatever. So of course, if you hear all the stories, probably most of them are true, maybe because he's such a kind of persona. And after all these years in professional wrestling, dealing with everything and even like with the shadows and with the light sides of professional wrestling, with being super successful to losing some workers in a very tragic way and stuff like this, it will kind of like make you to the person you are. And if you like, nobody's perfect, right? Nobody is always the nicest guy in the world and everything. And we're all humans. And when he's a special kind of human with his abilities that he's just sleeping, not the time an average person needs for that, good for him. So, and he's successful for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, he's an absolute genius. Absolute genius, Vince McMahon. So what's next for you? What's next for you, and where do you hope to end up?
I will move back to Germany.
Okay.
And everything, prepare myself right now for that. And then I will start again in the independent scene in Europe. So where I left off when I went over to America, so I will start right there. We'll probably go back to the Indies, hopefully have the chance to travel more, or I know we'll do. A lot of like requests for bookings and training seminars come in.
Okay.
And yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to enjoy my freedom right now till hopefully something else comes up. We'll see. Time will tell, and we'll probably hopefully have some good wrestling matches with some other guys in the world. And then we'll try to offer training seminars to get people to the next level, or get people to become better in professional wrestling, or maybe to start with professional wrestling for all kinds of promotions and of course for talents.
All right. Before we wrap this up, I know you have a new pro wrestling tee show. I'm sorry, not show, store. Sorry about that.
Okay.
If there's anything do you want to plug that? Any merchandise you want to plug?
Yes,
plug
please. Yeah, for North America, especially pro wrestling tees. Look out for Axman or Axel Tischer. There's some stuff in there, and I will try to update every time another design will come out. And also, you can find me on Cameo. Just look for Axman 3016. Also on Twitter is Axman 3016. You will find a link to my pro wrestling tee store as well. Others is Instagram. Unfortunately, still the WWE Wolfe, but I have to change that. Don't know how without. I need to get permission from Instagram somehow.
Okay.
Who knows? But yeah, that's where you find me.
All right. Well, Axel, thank you so much for joining me today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. And I have no doubt wherever you end up, you're going to have continued success. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Well, this has been the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network Sunday special interview. Again, want to thank my guest, Axel Tischer. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.